It's April 24th, 1994, and four hooded men burst into Harrah's Las Vegas casino. With masks on and guns drawn, they throw terrified staff and gamblers to the floor.
This was the first time anything like this had happened.
And with the mob's influence, it seems totally insane.
Popular consensus was that anybody who robbed a casino would end up dead the next day, buried out in the desert someplace.
However, if it wasn't for one simple mistake, they would have never been caught at all. To understand, we need to go back to 1993. Melvin Foster, aka Short Dog, is on a trip to Las Vegas. He loves the buzz of gambling and he loves taking risks.
Why are you guys bloods? Why are you in the gangs?
Why is we in the gang? I guess because the area we grew up in, man.
As a member of the infamous Bloods gang, it's part of who he is. Now as he wanders through the bustling casino floor, something catches his eye. The cage. On the other side, there's a massive stack of cash, more than you'd see in your average bank. But that's not the part that's really caught his attention. The gap between the cashier's desk and the bars above seems excessively large. It must be what, 15 inches? He turns to eye up the exit. It's maybe 20 or 30 yards away. Are the people that run the casinos really that dumb? The seed is planted in his mind. A seed that'll eventually take root. And once it does, it'll put him on a collision course with the most powerful people in Vegas. But first, he needs to think this through. Back in LA, Foster can't stop thinking about his observation. He knows there's a big opportunity here, bigger than the usual trouble he's involved with. But executing the perfect heist isn't gonna be easy. He wants to hit multiple Vegas casinos for a huge payday. But first, it makes sense to prioritise the easiest targets with the lowest security and cages close to the exit. Carefully, he starts to piece a plan together. A lightning fast nighttime hit will play to his advantage. Get in, intimidate visitors and staff, grab the cash and get out, all in under 3 minutes. This way, by the time the alarm's raised, he'll have disappeared into the desert darkness. But there's a problem. To pull this off, he'll need a crew that he can trust, and his fellow Bloods are very wary. The Vegas mob are not to be messed with. They think the risk of getting caught is simply too high. This is when a solution presents itself via an unlikely source. Foster's cousin, Dion Chappelle, is dating Chet Govan, a member of the rival Crips gang. Govan is no stranger to the criminal underworld either. His cousin hooks the pair up and Govan immediately sees the potential in Foster's plan. He agrees to supply the muscle and set up a practice run with a 5-man team. Each member of the team will have a specific role: a driver, 2 cash collectors, an intimidator, and a hit leader. With a car waiting outside, the hit leader and intimidator will scare the hell out of everyone in the casino, while the 2 smallest members will be tasked with diving through that 15-inch gap in the cashier's counter, and then grabbing the loot. With their roles assigned, and some recon and multiple Vegas casinos complete, they rehearse the first hit in fine detail. They even know where all of the casino's security cameras and backup exits will be. With some intricate planning, stolen vehicles, and firearms, it all leads up to this moment. It's 9 minutes past 9 PM on February the 22nd of 1994, and a crew of 4 masked men burst into the Aladdin casino. Guns drawn, they bark orders at the terrified staff and gamblers. The overwhelming fear causes several of them to lose control of their bodily functions. Within seconds, 2 of the smallest members vault the cashier's counter and begin to stuff empty pillowcases with $1,000 bundles. The hit leader screams at them to hurry up. In less than 2 minutes, they're back out the door with $47,000 in cash. Across the strip, Foster and Govan watch the heist unfold, just as they planned. They're gone before the incident is even reported. Surveillance footage is useless. With face masks and hooded tops on, there's only one hint: their skin colour. To the casino and authorities, it means nothing, and the gang knows it. 2 months later, they strike again. This time at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino. Their process is slick, and this heist is even more successful. They flee the scene in a stolen van and bank a cool $150,000. Again, there isn't any incriminating evidence left behind. Flush with success, Foster and Govan already have their next move planned. However, an unexpected twist urges them to bring the hit forward. You see, to avoid any direct links to Vegas, Govan has put a plan in place. The gang members who carried out the heist will lay low and transport the money back to LA separately. It's a tried and true method, just like the Aladdin job. Once they're back home, they'll launder the money with the help of other gang members. But there's been a complication. He's got word that the LAPD have been raiding Crips' homes after a recent homicide. Amongst the chaos, one of the gang members has tossed a bag of dirty money out of the window. The kicker? It still has the Aladdin casino wrappers around each bundle. The fear is that cross-state crime might attract the FBI's attention. They're not too worried though. They've been smart and used young blood with no prior convictions and clean prints. As far as the system's concerned, these kids are ghosts. However, following this news, they decide that they can't afford to waste any time. The fear is that the authorities and casinos will increase security suspecting another hit. They need to put in another hit before Vegas is ready. Just 2 days after the successful Flamingo hit, they go for it. This time, Harrah's casino is in their sights for an early hours raid. Govan's in charge of the firearms, stolen pieces that can't be traced. He makes sure that the younger members are armed and ready. Foster's got the vehicles all lined up, a mix of stolen and legit, each with its own purpose. They've done this several times now, so they know what to expect. After they've rushed the cage, they'll exit in a stolen getaway car as usual. They'll then switch vehicles in a nearby parking lot and make the overnight sprint back to LA. The clock is ticking and tension is building. The gang knows they're walking a tightrope now. They've got to be quick, in and out before the cops can react. 3 minutes, that's all they have. With the younger gang members eager to prove themselves, the crew's ready to up the ante. Harrah's is about to become the centre of a high-stakes showdown. Although unbeknown to the gang, tiny cracks are starting to form in their carefully laid plans. They're about to learn that even the most meticulous crafted scheme can unravel at the seams. For a change, the casino floor is quiet. Suddenly, the silence is shattered by screams. 4 masked men storm in, their weapons drawn, screaming at people to get on the floor. With people diving for cover and screaming in fear, the gunmen move quickly. The smallest figures dive through the narrow opening in the cage face first. A casino customer gets pistol whipped. It's a particularly aggressive episode this time. Inside the cage, employees are frozen with fear. The robbers force them to the floor and stuff cash into the pillowcases once more. One of the gunmen grabs a patron by the hair and collar, dragging him around as a hostage. He points his gun directly at the man and other patrons, ignoring their pleas for mercy. Once more, in less than 3 minutes, the gang is out the door with $97,000 in cash. The getaway driver is waiting outside, ready to make the switch to a different vehicle in a nearby parking lot. The robbers pile into the van, their hearts racing with adrenaline. But as they make the switch and drive out of the parking lot with their lights off, they catch the attention of a local squad car. Why are they driving with their headlights off, he wonders. The chase is on. The van speeds through the streets of Vegas, weaving in and out of traffic. Multiple police cars join the pursuit, and within 20 minutes, a helicopter hovers overhead, its spotlight trained on the fleeing vehicle. The gang is desperate, ramming a police car in an attempt to escape. Foster and Govan are both in Vegas watching the scene unfold from different locations. They're supposed to be the masterminds, the ones pulling the strings from a safe distance. But as they watch, panic sets in. Govan puts a call into Foster. This wasn't part of the plan. What now? The van crashes and the robbers flee on foot. But there's nowhere to run. The police are everywhere and K9 units are already on their trail. One by one, the 5 criminals are caught and taken into custody. The heist is over, but the real drama is just beginning because investigators are now stunned at what they've discovered. All 5 of these hardened criminals are actually just kids. They're barely old enough to drive, let alone pull off a daring casino heist. In the stark fluorescent light of an interrogation room, a 16-year-old sits stone-faced, his voice flat as he repeats the phrase that's become his mantra. No comment. The detectives press him, but he's not budging. He knows the drill. Keep quiet, don't snitch, and wait for representation. For the investigators, it's a frustrating dead end. These younger robbers have no incentive to talk, no reason to cooperate. Worst case, they're facing juvenile detention, not hard time in an adult prison. The threat of a lengthy sentence, the usual leverage in these cases, is off the table. It's a clever move by the gang's leaders, using underage foot soldiers to do their dirty work. If the kids get caught, they take the fall, but the consequences are minor compared to what an adult would have faced. It's a calculated risk, one that pays off in spades. But there's another layer to this puzzle. As detectives dig deeper, they realise that these young robbers are just pawns in a larger game. They don't even know the real names of the men that were pulling the strings, the masterminds behind this heist. Foster and Govan have insulated themselves. Using a network of youngsters desperate to prove themselves, they've kept their hands clean. Meanwhile, miles away, the two ringleaders are laying low, watching the news with a mix of fear and anticipation. They thought they'd covered all of their bases and planned for every contingency. But as the days tick by and the police net tightens, they can't shake the feeling that they've overlooked something.
LA gangs are turning Las Vegas into a real Wild West town. That's the word from police there after they arrested 5 gang members for 2 daring casino heists.
Almost a year passes. The case has gone cold. The young robbers, now serving their sentences in juvenile detention, have provided no new leads. The masterminds behind the operation have vanished into thin air. Their meticulous planning has paid off, leaving the FBI grasping at straws. But just as the case is about to be shelved, a twist of fate brings it back to life. A rival gang member, arrested on an unrelated charge, starts talking. He's heard Foster and Govan bragging about their exploits, how they outsmarted the Vegas casinos and the FBI. In a bid for leniency, he gives up their names. Suddenly, the pieces start falling into place. Surveillance footage, the gang ties, the money from Aladdin's casino, fingerprints, Foster's cousin, the stolen van, phone records, and GPS data placing both Foster and Govan in Vegas on the night of the heists. It all makes sense. But even with the mounting evidence, they don't have enough to convict them. The FBI moves quickly, pulling in the duo for questioning, and that's when things take an unexpected turn. Faced with the prospects of a lengthy prison sentence, sat in a police station interrogation room, Foster and Govan turn on each other. Both claim the other was the mastermind, the one who recruited the miners, sourced the weapons, and stole the vehicles. It's a classic prisoner's dilemma, and it works in the FBI's favour. With both men eager to cut a deal, the truth comes out fast. They admit their roles in the heist, filling in the blanks left by surveillance footage and witness statements. In the end, it's their own hubris that brings them down. Had they kept quiet and stayed loyal to each other, they might have walked away. But as the old saying goes, there's no honour amongst thieves. Finally, the duo face justice. Foster pleads guilty and receives 18.5 years, whilst Govan gets slapped with a hefty 22-year sentence. And the fallout from their crimes goes beyond prison time. The casinos are forced to adapt. Casino cages are moved away from the entrances, cameras are installed to cover every angle, and the bars at the cashier's desk are lowered to just a few inches. Inside the cages, multiple rooms are added with airlock doors separating them. Even the most advanced criminal would struggle to get in. Well, unless you're as skilled as this guy in the next video. For 20 years, he terrorised Vegas casinos. Thanks for watching, please subscribe.